Remember, we're
we are the tribulated. Hi, I'm Tanner.
Hi, I'm Kara.
And we're the Tribulates.
And we want to welcome you to our time together and just remind you that this week we do not have Wednesday night activities. However, there is an opportunity for you to serve at Clover Ridge Elementary School on Wednesday between 8:30 and 12, and then 12 to 3. And we'll just be doing a pumpkin patch with the kids, building relationships with the school. So we hope to see you there on Wednesday. What else do we have going on?
Yeah, and next week, Saturday, November 3rd, we're having our first Breakfast of Champions, where it's every first Saturday of every month now. We're going to be meeting together here at the church campus, all the men at Grace Point, just coming together, eating a meal, sharing in the Word, and growing in a relationship together. We're looking forward to a great time and really starting to develop a men's ministry here at Grace Point.
Awesome. And then on Sunday, we are having a guest speaker, so you want to make sure that you are there. We're going to continue our series, Breaking Chains, but we have a special guest, so that's exciting.
We do, and we just want to thank the church Grace Point for this month of October, which is considered Pastor Appreciation Month. We just want to thank you for all the love and appreciation and support that really you show throughout the year, but really specifically this month, and just the ways that you have loved on your pastoral staff. It is amazing, and we want to appreciate you appreciating us. But let's talk a little bit about the sermon on Sunday. Pastor Kara preached on Sunday in our sermon series of Breaking Chains, talking about hopelessness. And you preached out of Jeremiah 17, and you kind of talked about this reality of shrubs and bushes.
Shrubs and trees.
Shrubs and trees. And so what was, how does that connect to our lives? Like what does it mean if I'm a bush or if I'm a tree?
A shrub.
Shrub, bush,
Same thing.
All these metaphors.
So Jeremiah 17 talks about just this illustration of being a shrub or being a tree, and what they're like if you are either one of those. And the shrub is basically equates to a person who finds all their hope and all of their trust in either human beings, in human strength, whether it's human strength of others or human strength of themselves, and they turn away from the Lord. And these shrubs are then stunted, so they're not growing, they're in a desert, they're not flourishing. It even says that they are cursed. And then the difference in the tree is that this tree, the main difference and the only description of the tree is that they put all of their hope and confidence in the Lord. And then it describes that because of that, then they are flourishing, they are growing, their roots are deep in the water, they have green leaves, they're producing fruit and all of this stuff. And so that just really equates to our own lives in that, when we find ourselves putting our hope and all of our trust into things that are not God, we just wind up disappointed. We wind up in the wilderness, we're not growing, and things like that. But when we turn away from that and turn towards our hope and confidence in God alone, then we flourish, and that's pretty much the difference between the two.
That's awesome. And just talking about how Jesus can break the chains of hopelessness in our lives. The main way that this occurs is when we are connected to our source. But there were three main kind of points that we talked about. So how are the chains of hopelessness broken? Pastor Kerr had 3 points for us. The first one is just don't put all of your hope in something that can fail you. And that's really the main characteristic of the shrub, not the bush. The shrub of having confidence in the things of this world, whether it's people or materials. The second point is to position yourself where you will receive life. And that's just like the tree positioning itself by the river. It's a Matthew 6:33 principle of seeking the kingdom of God first, and everything else will take care of itself. And that's kind of a cute saying sometimes we'll put on pillows or whatever. But it's a biblical truth that when we are seeking God first in our life, that we really don't have to put a lot of worry and thought into other things, because if we're seeking God first, everything else is going to take care of itself. And we get to kind of have this more eternal perspective when we're close with God, to know that even the hopelessness of life, even in the famine and the drought that the passage talks about, even in those moments, the tree is flourishing because it's connected to its source, the river. And so it's just this position for ourselves in our lives with Christ, to position ourselves as close as we can to Christ. That way, whether we're in drought or great times, that we are flourishing.
That actually reminds me of the vine and the branches from John 15 too. Like, apart from Jesus, we can do nothing.
Yeah.
And if the vine is not connected to the branch, then what is it?
Yeah.
What is it doing?
Absolutely. And we just find ourselves living lives not connected to our source, Jesus Christ, when he has made himself so available to us. And so if you have found yourself in a hopeless moment, or even in a good moment where you realize you're not connected to your source, Christ has provided himself for us. And all we need to do is seek him, and we seek him through his word, we seek him through time and prayer with him, time together with other Christians and our growth. And he's here for us, and all we need to do is reach out, which was your third point about breaking the chains of hopelessness, was just reaching for Christ. He's not going to avoid us and hide from us. He is there ready to reach right back as we are reaching.
And I also, in the beginning of the sermon, talked about our flight. I don't know if you remember our flight coming back from Christmas.
Yeah, that was fun.
What was your perspective on that? Because mine was obviously fearful and full of anxiety and craziness. So what was yours?
Yeah, so if you watched the sermon on Sunday, you were there. There was this flight that she talked about that we were both on last Christmas, coming back, flying into Portland, which I hear is actually kind of common, flying into Portland to have a flight of this nature. Kind of new to us, being new to the area. I have flown a lot in my life, as Kara noted. My mom works at United Airlines, so we get to fly for free, which is an amazing blessing. So we've traveled a bit. That was definitely the most turbulence I have ever experienced in my life. I wouldn't say I was anywhere near as anxious as Kara was. I don't know if it's just because I've flown more or what it is. Plane flights don't bother me in the same way. But it's always a fun dynamic flying with Kara, because on the one hand, I love flying and traveling, so I get to enjoy it, but also I get to be mindful that it's not as enjoyable for her, so I need to love on my wife and let her squeeze the blood out of my hands when she needs to. But no, it's fun. And in that flight in particular, I just watch the flight attendants, and usually that's my gauge. If the flight attendants aren't freaking out, we're probably okay. That, or they've been trained very well not to freak us out, and hopefully if we're gonna die, it happens quickly. So I don't know if that's the better attitude of the two, but that's the attitude I have. You just trust that the pilot knows what he's doing, and if he doesn't, we'll probably die quickly.
And both are comforting in weird ways.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all that we have for today, so let us know if you have any questions. Write a comment. If you are memorizing the challenge passage, let us know in the comments that you are doing so, and maybe you'll get a fun prize.
Yeah, but we will see you this coming Sunday.